You may have all been tracking perhaps actor George Clooney and some of the activism that he's undertaken in Sudan. Well, one of the reasons why there is so much attention being paid there right now is because there's a key vote underway in that country. Sudan's voting whether the South should become independent. It's going to be a week long, this referendum. And so far, the signs do point to Africa's largest country splitting in two. Now, this region is very rich in oil, and we wanted to take a look at what opportunities an independent South Sudan could offer, because we're hearing so many say this will be the decade of Africa. Herta von Stiegel is head of Ariya Capital. Her private equity group specializes in sub-Saharan Africa. Herta, thanks for joining us from London. I want to ask you, as we watch what's developing in Sudan, there's a tremendous amount of oil in the south. The pipelines are in the north. What we have seen is investor interest out of China and out of France. Are you finding opportunities there right now?
Absolutely. We are looking at Africa as the next big frontier market. As you appreciate, this is a big continent. We are talking about 53 countries, with hopefully the south of Sudan being the 54th. There are significant opportunities in terms of natural resources, but not just a consumer-driven play, but also driven by consumers and really a growing middle class. So not just commodities, but consumers as well.
So what could Africa's potentially newest country present in the exact kind of opportunities you're finding? They've got the third largest oil supply out of any African country. I mean, how are you investing there?
We are currently not investing in South Sudan, but we are looking at the country very carefully, just like we are looking at Zimbabwe, for example, and other countries where you don't have the political stability that you have in most of sub-Saharan Africa. But certainly in terms of the natural resources, the Sudan is going to be a country that we are going to look very carefully. Our main focus, though, is not on oil, but it is on renewable energy, because we expect that Africa will really represent a very meaningful investor opportunity in the renewable energy space, as well as in fossil fuels. But our primary focus is renewable energy.
We've been hearing a lot about farmland and agricultural supply in Africa. Informa Agro reports that $2 billion will be invested by private equity firms in the next 3 to 5 years across the continent. What kind of opportunities are you finding on that front?
The agricultural space is indeed a key opportunity. If you think of Africa as a continent having 20% of the world's land mass, and a lot of land that is not cultivated yet, some people are looking at Africa as the new potential for a land grab. I think that is a crude way of putting it, but clearly when you have this significant land mass that is available, agriculture is key. And there is a significant precedent for that. If you think of Zimbabwe before the current difficulties, Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of Southern Africa. Sudan is a huge country, as you pointed out. It's Africa's largest country, and clearly the focus there is going to be on agriculture in addition to oil. And some of the Middle Eastern investors are already looking at the larger countries for acquisition of land, whether it's through long-term leases or outright acquisitions.